A New Hope, Nier Chapter 45. Please like and share our videos. Thank you. After we broke through the thick cloud cover and hit the upper atmosphere, we were able to sync up with the more sensitive YoRHa satellites and they took over piloting our ships, so we were able to cruise at a much faster speed without having to break through the sound barrier, which would have been a problem closer to the surface. Thankfully there were comm systems, so I didn't get too bored being able to talk to the androids who traveled with me, and even with YoRHa headquarters, though Commander White and Operator 60, who I got relatively close to when I visited the space station, seemed to be too busy lately with how they were setting up a ground base. Which was a lot more complicated than I imagined due to them needing to set up many safety measures such as an extremely dense and reinforced foundation to stop machine or the newly mutated lifeforms from burrowing underneath, as well as a sort of mirror system that could reflect and deflect the large lasers that Goliath-class machine lifeforms are so fond of. 6E, with 2B and 9S being assigned to do some scouting and such, have you received an assignment as well? I asked as that had come up in the short conversation I had with Commander White. She quickly explained that they needed to recall the two for a mission as they were short-handed with basically all the androids not doing critical sweeping missions to clear the machine lifeforms that were pushing towards the YoRHa base, which was near my bunker, which obviously implicated me in this nonsense as well. We're currently helping build the new YoRHa base. But 6E was left out of the conversation, and well, A2 certainly had zero plans to cooperate with YoRHa, as she still held a grudge for being hunted longer than I have been alive. I am still bound to watch over you, Jake. 6E said over the comms quietly, and I smiled at the thought of spending more time with my most calm and relaxed android. She along with A2 were the ones who first found me and frankly helped keep me alive after I got hurt in the crossfire between them and the machine lifeforms. Sucks that old combustion-style weapons are basically worthless though. When we arrived back at my bunker, and we broke through the cloud covering, I saw a massive tower still being built in the distance. So, what's that tower supposed to do? I asked 6E after we landed and moved away from the flight units that flew off and in the general direction of the tower I mentioned. It's to act as both a radar detection unit, that will periodically send pulses into the ground to detect anomalies, as well as sending pulses into the sky to find machines at a distance. Lastly, it will also act as our black box recorder. That way, so long as androids are constantly streaming our data towards it, we can have our consciousness restored and placed in a new body should we be destroyed unexpectedly. 6E explained, and I nodded in understanding. The biggest problem YoRHa had as a fighting force wasn't resources or even manpower really at its base with how they could recover the consciousness of its destroyed troops. No, the biggest problem of YoRHa was the creation of new androids' souls, basically, as any mistakes during their creations would lead to them needing to be destroyed lest they fall into rampancy, go insane, and worse, spread rampancy to others. So, wanna go smash? I asked, seeing as I didn't have anything else to do with how I could use my magic to help fruit and vegetables grow and water was easily summoned. I wanna smash too. A2 said excitedly, and 6E nodded in confirmation. A couple hours later the bunker was filled with A2's screams as she let out all her repressed emotions. Fuck you, Jake. Quit using Jigglypuff. She screamed, and I could tell she was a hair's width away from attempting to beat me to death with her controller, as even 6E had gently put down her controller and had her knees pulled up against her chest as she breathed in and out deeply, trying to stop her own outburst. Alright, I will use Samus or Sonic. I haven't used them against you both, so you girls can choose, I said gently, as though I wasn't going to cheese the fuck out of them even as they were in a team against me. They committed the cardinal sin of not disabling items, and I was going to bully them for their negligence.